Life has been really crazy this week. Had a family emergency that's still kind of playing out. School starting, but in the midst of it, while I was running some errands, I made just a few moments, stop by my LCS, empty out my pull box. Hey, this is James for Read More Comics. As I said in the intro, it's been crazy this week. Went to my LCS, buy me toys in beautiful Mishawaka, Indiana, picked up my pulls. So let's go ahead and walk through the books I have this week. It is a prodigious stack. And I'm going to be honest, looking at League of Comic Book Geeks, and it kind of charts out the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys of my pulls. This is the biggest pull list I've had in a while. Part of it, to be fair, I had a collected edition. Otherwise, it would have been okay. First up, we have Absolute Green Arrow, issue number 4. I've been pulling the 8 covers for this, and I'm going to be honest, except for Superman and Wonder Woman in the Absolute universe, I'm probably just going to migrate to the 8 covers. One, it's just easier. My LCS uses Comics Hub, and it's difficult to pre-order variant covers. Also, the 8 covers have been stellar. So Absolute Green Arrow has been extended to 12 issues from the original mini of 6, which is cool. It is more of a horror vibe to it, and you can kind of see that in this cover. This is the introduction of Absolute Solomon Grundy. Last issue, we had kind of a cameo. So this is him like full bore. Still figuring out some of the mystery with Green Arrow. I have a feeling he's kind of like a revenant, someone dead who's come back for revenge, but I have no idea, honestly. It's been a fun read, though. And Green Arrow is not one of my characters, but Absolute Green Arrow totally is. Then we have Avengers Armageddon, issue number 3. This has been fun. I pulled this because I got the free comic book day kind of preview, and it was good. And I went, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'm not getting all like the other books. I don't know how many other books are involved. I'm getting Captain America, which is kind of telling a parallel story that's connected, but that's a whole other thing. Issue number 2 had a really cool plot twist at the end. General Ross, Red Hulk, and all of his Hulk minions, whatever they're called, they were defeated, and then something happened. So that was fun. It's been a really engaging story. I think it would be less interesting if it was just, 3, 4, 5 issues of the Avengers and allies beating on Red Hulk, or Red Hulk beating on them. It needed some more meat than that. And we got that in issue number 2. So I'm looking forward to issue number 3. Then we have issue number 3 at Bishop. This has turned out to be a really fun read. I pulled this because I'm a Bishop fan, all the way back from the animated series. I've said that before. Bishop is what got me into X-Men. Okay. Issue number 1 was kind of a recap, and there was a lot of commiserating, a lot of Bishop moaning about life. And I like to see some momentum, some change, some development in characters. And I realized that was what the creative team was doing to make Bishop recognizable, to give some backstory without having a lot of exposition. Issue number 2 was amazing. We had Shard and Bishop throwing down against these interesting amalgam mutants. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes with this. I'm hopeful that this works really well and that the numbers are great, because an ongoing Bishop series would be cool. I don't think that'll happen. Then we have Dark's Knights of Steel 2, issue number 2. this is another one where there's some stellar variant covers, but Yasmin Putri is doing the A cover, and I love her work. She did the interiors for the first volume. Well, it's not really the first volume, but the first run of Dark Knights of Steel. I saw this on social media, and I think it's a pretty fair description. So this is an Elseworlds story. For those of you not familiar with DC, Elseworlds is not inside continuity. So this is a story with characters that are recognizable. Like John and Martha Kent had been in issue number 1. Okay. Superman was in issue number 1. On and on. But there's some sort of twist. Okay. It's the creative team is telling a different story. And Dark Knights of Steel has been labeled on social media by this comic book store, and I went, that's a pretty good label. This is if the DCU intersects with Game of Thrones. It's a fantasy setting. There's no incest. I'm sorry, I had to pause for a moment to make sure I'm not lying to you. Nope, there's no incest. But you get all the politics in that fantasy setting. So it's very cool. And there's really good bad guys. Art is great. We got Otto Schmidt on art. So that's a good one. Then we have If Destruction Be Our Lot, issue number 4. This is just a wonderful dystopian character study about what if humanity went extinct and robots kept living their life. You know, if AI kept doing its AI thing, but there weren't anybody for them to serve anymore. What's interesting, well, 2 things. One, main character is a robotic Abraham Lincoln, anthropomorphized. Most of the other robots aren't, though. They're showing kind of robotic evolution, which is cool. I am a big fan of Matthew Rosenberg. This is written by both Matt and Mark Rosenberg. Just an interesting trivia thing. In CLZ, this is not the cover for issue number 4. This is the cover for issue number 5. It did it with another book, too, which I found interesting. So, this is fun read. Then we have Lucky Devils, issue number 9. This was, well, we'll talk about that, by Charles Soule, Ryan Brown. This is the A cover. This is the other one that CLZ said that the A cover was a different cover. It was weird. This originally had kind of a white wrapper around it. I'm not sure why. Maybe there's a spoiler to this cover. To be honest with you, because there was some delays in production, Ryan Brown, the artist, who is incredible, had a stroke. And so Charles Soule, being just based on this, an amazing human being, said, well, we're going to stop. You're going to take care of yourself. Ryan Brown had to reteach himself how to draw. And so production's been slowed. Originally, this was supposed to be 9 issues. This is the penultimate issue. I have only read the Ash Can, which I ordered because it's an exclusive, and I'm that type of nerd, I guess. I've been holding off. This is in, I'm checking right now. So in my read box, this is in the backlog. This is a series that I'm waiting on because issue number 10 isn't supposed to come out for several months. Like, I think it's solicited for late this year or early next year, which is okay. What I might do is, what I'll probably do is I'll put this into my my on deck category where I'm going to be pulling books from, and I'll start reading this, and eventually by the time I'm just about done, you know, the next issue will come out. Then we have Mumm-Ra the Ever-Living by Dynamite. This is Declan Shelvey. This is the Declan Shelvey variant. This has been a really enjoyable origin story for Mumm-Ra. I think he, like in the cartoon series, it worked that he was mysterious. Like, he was just this evil presence. It totally worked. But I think now that the audience for Thundercats is, on the downward side of middle age. I say this because that's where I'm at. We need a little bit more meat. So this has been really a fun read. I've been pulling the main. So this is part of the Thundercats Silverhawk crossover. I've been getting the main book. There's also this other one called Thunderhawks, which is supposed to be Thunderhawks in the future. So this one's kind of taking place in the past. Thunderhawks is in the future, and then Thunderhawks X Silverhawks is like present day. One thing I didn't realize, and I blame Dynamite for this, I did not realize that the main Thundercats book had been paused. It's on hiatus until this event is done. That would have been nice to recognize. I blame Dynamite. Like, I don't think they advertised this event effectively. Anyway, this has been a good read. It's only 5 issues. If you're into Thundercats, get the collected edition or pick up the individual copies in dollar bins, because this is not going to be like, this is not a spec book. Then we have Reborn, Ultimate Impact, issue number 4. This is a variant cover. The artist who did this also did the Bishop A cover. He has a cool style. I got this because we have the Juggernaut looming in the background. I chose this cover. This is one that I'm not subbing to. I just pick up when it shows up in the store. Because I think it only has one more issue. Anyway, this is kind of spilling out from Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate Incursion, where Miles Morales went to the Ultimate Universe that the Maker had created and came back with these things called Origin boxes, which had the essence of how these superheroes in the Ultimate Universe would have become superheroes. The Maker had extracted them from the timeline so that way they wouldn't. Now, what's interesting to me, and I'm grappling with, in the Ultimate Universe, a few characters got a hold of these and they became those superheroes, like Ultimate Spider-Man. Peter Parker became Ultimate Spider-Man because of like this origin box thing. I think maybe I need to go back and reread. Where in this, as they spill out into the mainline Marvel Universe, they're giving just normal people all sorts of wonky powers. It's been fun. I'm pulling this honestly, or I'm reading this honestly, because it's a Miles Morales story, and it was a story that's kind of filling in a gap in how he was interacting with the Ultimate Universe, because he's important to the Ultimate Universe, even though he didn't show up in Ultimate Spider-Man, except for like some cameos and stuff like that. So, and it's also kind of filling in the gap between the last volume of Miles Morales and this one. I love the fact that the creative team get that he is over his head, with what he's doing. So it's been fun. It's been a good story. Issue number 2 had some. I don't think it was a scripting thing. I think it's how the artist interpreted the script, because when I read issue 1, 2, 3. There's like some physics in combat that made sense in issue 1 and 3. It fit how I'm seeing it. And I'm seeing this as, so this is a spillover. I had this epiphany. As I've been reading old comic books, I've been evaluating story and art and production and ads. Like it's a whole experience. And I'm seeing now when I'm reading my normal pulls, I'm beginning to think that way. Like, why is this happening? What was going on? What was the artist thinking? What was the writer thinking? On and on and on. And it's making me more of a critical reader, which isn't a bad thing. I enjoyed issue number 2. There were just some parts where I'm going like, this seems off. How did they do that? Issue number 2 had the Punisher, and I'm going to be candid. I'm not a huge Punisher fan. I'm just not. Anyway, And then we have Redcoat, issue number 19. This has been an awesome read. This is a wraparound cover, so I'm going to pull it out of the bag. Out of the Ghost Machine titles, this has become my favorite, which I did not expect. So there's the wraparound cover. Simon Pure on the front cover. Something bad happened to him. This is a Brian Hitch cover. This is the one I think, like there's more momentum. This is the one that's been optioned. I think a series on Apple or Amazon or something like that. This is kind of a cross between Highlander and American History, and like Highlander the series, like, and Simon Pure, even though he's British and he's a total scoundrel, is the good guy, and all the legendary figures from American history, like George Washington, they're not the good guys. So it's kind of an interesting twist. 19 issues in, and it's been a fun read. Simon Pure is a riot. Highly recommend this book. We have Facsimile. We have Silver Surfer issue number 6. This is, I love, and I've been reflecting on this because while I appreciate the production quality of DC Facsimile issues, and they're great placeholders, I think Marvel is more intentional with it. So like we're getting almost all, if not all, of Silver Surfer Volume 1 in this edition, which is very approachable. Like for $7, I'm getting a book that would cost hundreds of dollars if it was an original, or even the Fantasy Masterpiece. It can vary in price, but it's more than $7, right? So I get the same experience of reading the individual issues and just kind of immersing myself in both Stanley and John Buscema's creation. The one thing I realized is DC, even though they do have amazing quality control with their facsimile editions, and I love the paper quality because it's more of a newsprint, similar to the original, where this is more of a glossy paper. It'll hold up better over time. Except for placeholders, DC's program of reprinting facsimile books is kind of all over the place. Like Marvel did the first 12 issues of Fantastic Four. You know, they're doing like whole stories, and DC's done the same. You know, they did Year One, and they've done Death of the Family, and then they do kind of scattershot Batman issues. But I was reflecting on that because I was buying all of these Batman facsimiles, and then part of me is like, I really don't want these. I'm not going to read them. You know, if it's not a placeholder for something I'm going to read that I want to as a part of my collection, I don't know where, you know, this is. So this has been fun reading it like in an issue format, and John Buscema's art is incredible. It's John Buscema, right? Yeah, it's not Sal. We have Star Trek: The Last Starship, issue number 10. This is the Francovillo. I'm totally butchering that. I'll put. Oh, here it is. It's Francesco Francovillo. My apologies, sir, because he does incredible art. With my trip to Japan, I missed an issue, and so it's on back order. Issue number 8, this story kind of took this horror direction, which is really cool. I'm hoping it continues in issue number 9 and issue number 10, at least for the current arc, and then they go somewhere else with it. This and Red Shirts. Sorry, I just jostled my desk. You can't see it underneath my desk. I have my little dog. He just rolled over on his back, so all his paws are up in the air like he's a dead cockroach. They went to school. That's doggy daycare. We had him boarded for the last couple of days because of this family emergency, and both my dogs are wiped. I've been picking them up every day, and my older dog, you can tell she's been playing, and she's a black lab, so her inner lab nature is to nap all day, right? So she's a little stiff in her hindquarters. And age is a part of that, and we get that. And today she's fine. And I knew she would be. She just needed a good night's sleep. She'd be fine today. Both of them, usually, me and my wife, we let the dogs sleep in our bed. We just do. That was something we talked about 25 years ago, 26 years ago with our first puppy. And so since that point, dogs sleep in the bed. And usually throughout the night, you'd wake up and they've moved, like in the bed, or one dog has gone to sleep somewhere else, or one dog sleeping in the hallway, or a dog sleeping on the floor. And last night, they both ended up, I woke up once and I saw where they're at. And when I woke up again, 7 hours later, they were in the same spots. So they were toast. And they still are. So they're funny. Anyway, getting to it. Red Shirts got me into pulling a Star Trek book. The first volume is in a collected edition. Highly recommended. It is a wonderful kind of look at the red shirt meme and kind of plays on that. Really well done. The second volume is going in a different direction. I'm enjoying it. Colin Bunn is doing the writing on that. This was the other one I heard an interview on Off Panel with the creative team. No, it was the editor for the Star Trek line, and she was talking about this, and I went, that's a really interesting concept. I thought it was originally kind of an Elseworlds kind of off-continuity book, but it's not. I like that it's kind of flipping the whole Star Trek universe in a way that makes sense. So we're not kind of rehashing the same thing, so it's been really enjoyable. Highly recommend this. 10 issues in, you could put like one trade and you're almost there. Then we have Superman Unlimited issue number 16. This is the third chapter. You can see right here. This is really nice that they're doing this. Third chapter in the Kingdom of Zod kind of mini event. This is a crossover just in the Superman titles. I am not pulling the other Superman books, so this will be the first time I've read anything about this. And I only got into this, honestly, because young John Kent showed up, and he was in like the last couple issues, and that was a really good story. So I'm going to be keep going with this. I've read kind of I got caught up. I was able to find almost all the issues at half price books for $2 a pop. So I've read the 15 issues before this, and I'm sold on Superman Unlimited. It's been a fun ride so far. I think Dan Slott's telling a good story. I don't know who the Gilliam March is doing the cover here. I'm not sure who's doing the interiors because it's a new arc. And we got Wonder Woman number 36. This is by Stephanie Williams. This is the variant cover by Akko. This one I pre-ordered. I've seen his style on other covers, and I really like it. So this is kind of an interlude. 35 and 36 is a flashback issue for the ongoing story that Tom King is telling about the matriarch and the conflict with Wonder Woman. I know there's a lot of heat or hate online for Tom King's run on this. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's added some gravitas to Wonder Woman and made her distinctly a different character than Superman or Batman. And I think that's a struggle that some creative teams have. And the art is stellar. So if you're looking at a place to jump on, I'd get issue number 35, then this, and then the next chapter of the Matriarch War, I think it's called, is continue it. Here's my collected edition. Batman Superman World's Finest, volume number 9. This is the hardcover. It's Mark Waid and Adrian Gutierrez. Originally, Dan Mora was doing the art, and now he does covers, and he kind of dips in and out, and that was a selling point. This is a fun, kind of Silver Age-esque retro look at Batman and Superman, and you get a bunch of other characters in too. So this has been a lot of fun. I started collecting them in the hardcover because I think it's a wonderful presentation, and I've just continued with this. So we're 9 volumes in. This is Batman, Superman, World's Finest, 44 through 49. 49 issues of Batman, Superman, World's Finest. So a lot of fun. So there you go. Those are my polls for the week. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Thank you for listening to me ramble on. Please do like, share, subscribe, hit the bell in the corner whenever I post new content. You'll get a notification. I appreciate your patience because this ended up being a much longer video. I think I had that segue about dogs. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, life is so much better when we read more comics.